often, you will look for the Lux, because Lux Caitlyn lanes will go for these flash bindings a lot to try and get their binding into trap combination, but Leona's so good at punishing that, instantly going for the all-in. And like you say, if the Caitlyn Lux lane loses some kills early, they lose the pushing power on that bottom wave. They start to lose out on that lane. There's your Ornn you're looking for, though, and Caps as he starts to delve a little deeper into the mid pool.
And also just an interesting note for Kellen on that Leona, no games played this summer, just as we discussed in all the players, different approach, and as Caps and Targamas are toying with everyone's hearts, Seraphine with the last lock-in.
Okay, so Seraphine, the idea there, dang, I wanted to see that shake up. Seraphine, the idea here is you are a very strong poke-heavy mage, so Azir counters often involved a lot of poke damage because there's not a lot of sustain on Azir, trying to outrange Azir, throw those Qs, you have good minion wave management with this champion, and you build towards that team fight. This just for G2 though, put a lot of emphasis onto Flacket, onto that bottom lane. They need that bottom lane to succeed.
And just like we saw from the Fnatic composition, 2 ways of engage from long range, multiple screens away. If they can find that to work, the final lock-in will be Nuguri's Camille.
It's a scary matchup for the side of Broken Blade. Nuguri has had a overall very solid playoffs leading up to the World Championship. I mean, you were talking about it earlier. Don't sub him out. Keep him on this roster. And he's going to be given that counter pick on this Camille. Question is, how will this match up? What type of resources will he get? Because when you look overall at Damwon's comp, it's a little bit all over the place, I would say. They've got like decent range with Azir and Jhin with decent pick, poke. They do have some side lane threat. Their team fighting, I would say, overall is good. But when you kind of look at the straightforward front-to-back teamfight comp of G2, where they have so much range at their disposal, they have a solid front line, G2's ability to play through these neutrals, to play teamfights just feels easier, while Damwon seem to have a lot more skill expression and individual agency when it comes to laning phase and the mid-game.
I'm very curious to see when Damwon decide to actually pull the trigger on attacking that bottom lane. They've got the Leona here, so wherever Kellen goes, post level 6, you're looking for that all-in, you're looking for those kills. When analyzing this team, especially in the early game, Nuguri is the most aggressive player by far. When this guy is in the lineup, at Worlds, he has the highest forward percentage of any player here. And that is our percentage of time spent across the halfway point. No matter what the matchup is, he's always looking for the aggressive side of it. And with the Camille counter into Ornn, with that true damage, he is equipped to execute it.
New York City, let's go. We're on Summoner's Rift. 5 members of G2 Esports barreling forward quickly. Just while I have to do this, don't forget to link the league account with Prime Gaming to receive free digital goods. The ward will spot out G2. They chuck out the flag. They will be able to clear that one out instantaneously. G2 back away.
One of the biggest things when you're playing against the Jarvan, get early information on it. So because G2 sent everybody bottom side and killed that ward, Damwon actually gained some information too, and they take that opportunity for Nuguri to get this ward on blue buff. Jarvan, they know by process of elimination which buff he'll start on. Right now he's heading up towards the blue side, so Nuguri will be alerted here, and that also allows Canyon to set up his Graves path to try and slowly whittle away at these camps from Jarvan, increase that CS lead. Graves is this big kind of snowball champion here, trying to farm up a storm and become a very powerful force later. Meanwhile, Jankos looking for the angles to upset the lanes and get aggressive early, especially towards that bottom side.
It's funny, because in the draft you mentioned the G2's damage is a little bit limited. You contrast that to Damwon's comp, they've got damage everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Look at this! Kellen's flash ignited with that shield of Daybreak. Flackhead's low, cleanse already used, gotta burn through those consumables.
So this is very much what you need to do in this lane. We already talked about it in the draft. Try and get some of those summoner spells out early. They've gotten the cleanse from Flackhead. That means at level 2 they will have a little bit more lockdown power. I don't think they got as much as they wanted, but already gaining control over the lane.
Gentlemen, I was told to focus on the top trios for both teams. I was told to focus the Lux. Kellen and Dogdam just go all in. They will burn through that cleanse as well as those potions, but Flack and Targamas already pushing back. They're about to hit level 2.
Oh yeah, you gotta adapt with new information, baby. Based on the draft, bottom lane is gonna be so spicy. And look at Canyon. He has started top side. He's going red into Raptors into Gromp. That is the fastest level 3 you can get. And with the tell that Kellen on level 1 is flashing in onto Flacket to burn the cleanse, you gotta think Canyon is gonna have some aggressive tendencies here. He's level 3 here on the Graves. Let's see what they can pull off.
I think both junglers have their eyes set on this bot lane, right? When you think about it, Jankos was spotted out on the blue buff, and he's pathing towards bot. He's gotten himself now level 3.
See him.
His goal here is to cover for a potential Canyon gank, and while he will be spotted on this ward, he's now going to leverage this time to get information. He's now going to spot out Canyon. He knows exactly what's going on. No steal is going to come through from Jankos. He was very close, but good damage from Broken Blade in the top lane.
There was 35 HP on that thing, and the timer for a flat.
Gentlemen, this trading back and forth, Broken Blade is playing with his life. He's got that Dawn shield. There's still a biscuit for Nuguri. Stepping forward, takes a hook shot to the face. I'm waiting for Nuguri. Does he decide to go for that engage? Once again,
Smite fight?
Cussing Canyon. Smite fight. Let's go the way of Canyon.
Canyon is eating up good. Already you can see the 10 CS lead. Kellen goes back in onto Flacket again.
Oh, 90 caliber net gets Flacket to safety, holding on to that summoner spell. Kellen is continually pressing forward, but here comes Canyon. He's going to be able to dash over the wall.
Relentless here, already with the CS lead, coming to try and punish Flacket. Kellen looking around, see if they can actually find the angle. G2 have to be a little bit careful. They do have flashes still available.
Jankos, though, he's pathing back towards the bot side of the map. He knows that Canyon could be up to something shady, and he is.
Fight! 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 Smoke screen and the root connects to the target mask. Heal and flash still available to him, both used. Not going to be up just yet. One more step forward. Doctor will be able to pick up the kill, but that's Kellen rooted out of the tower. Jankos with red buff helps out Flacket. It's a 1-for-1.
Counter kill for Flacket. Jankos trails the play and then make a salvage out of it.
But it's Damwon that overall, I think, come out ahead. They burn all of the summoner spells out from this G2 bot lane, and now it makes the aggression so much easier for this Damwon 2 versus 2. We talked about how this bot lane is often underlooked, underrated for Damwon, but this is a lane that they are not afraid to play through, and this is exactly why.
Also, the tag-on effect is that both junglers showing bottom means the top lane can play very aggressively. Here it is, Kellen going in, full CC combination onto Targamas, last shot there from Docdam, but because they took the tower shot there, for Leona is going to get the counter kill as Flacket gets off an extra auto.
The thing I love about this as well is that G2 showed their hand. Caitlyn Lux was first and third pick. The answer was Jhin Leona. Someone here knew exactly what they were opting into, and they are playing this lane very far forward. Taking a look at those CS numbers at 5 minutes, relatively insignificant across the board, and Caps will TP to the middle lane. We haven't had a chance to watch this Seraphine Azir because of the bottom lane action.
Canyon already looking for an invade. He does have the level advantage over Jankos, securing both Scuttle Crabs. Secured him that early lead, and it means that Damwon, for the time being, have about a 500 gold advantage. Some of that is due to the top lane matchup with a small CS discrepancy, but Broken Blade should be able to close that one out very quickly. And the mid laners, what's interesting about this matchup is Azir, you expect him to get the early push, but as levels start to come through for the Seraphine, her wave clear starts to become very oppressive, and I expect Caps to actually start getting the push the longer this laning phase goes on.
Yeah, because some people are used to seeing the champ as support, they underestimate the poke damage here that the champion does have, and Caps utilizing it very nicely there versus Showmaker.
It'll be very interesting to see how these two respective mid laners use their zoning abilities. When you think of the beat drop, the root that can come in, the Sand Soldiers, you got to respect them, especially with relatively squishy members on the side of G2 Esports. But every time I look at the minimap, looking for Canyon, looking for Jankos, both of these junglers have the ability to impact. And with that bottom wave push, Kellen roams, no opportunity available, backs away.
And with so much focus from the junglers on the bottom side of the map, the top lane is so volatile, so spicy. When level 6 comes in for these players, the kill threat is actually here. And the most important part for Camille's kit is the Sheen. Any Sheen item, when you get that proc for your Q2, it's going to turn your Sheen item into true damage as well. That's the big advantage that you have over the tank players, over the Ornn. And Nuguri even slipping into the river to get those honeyfruit.
Oh my word, beautiful from Showmaker. Canyon not level 6, collateral damage not available, but the flash is now taken out. And Showmaker is going to push this wave forward. Caps is sticking around. The surround sound can help out somewhat. He's teleports on cooldown, so Showmaker can pick up an advantage here.
A play that we often see from Canyon, and the analyst has talked about it, this investment into mid lane. Even though he's playing the Graves, a champion that you don't typically expect to gank a lot, he's using this pressure to gain advantages. Look at the blue buff right now. He's just taking taking that away from Jankos because of the pressure that they have in mid. They know that there's no way in order for Jankos to be able to contest this, given that he has the push in top and in bot, and he converts it into an advantage. It is give to your laners, who then give back to you, and this is why Canyon's Graves can often be so oppressive.
And it's really important for him, considering the overall draft, to lend that, threat towards bottom side, because that's what Jhin and Leona can play off of. Kellen can't keep on going for all these all-in if they don't also have Canyon playing screening for them. Also, the Jhin is always such a popular pick into Caitlyn because of the move speed that you get. Starting with boots and potions, you have so much extra regeneration, force out a lot of that poke in lane. Kellen going with the mobility boots on the Leona too.
Yes.
Like we said, in Champ Select, when you get level 6 on the Leona, track him. Wherever he goes, kills will follow, and now he's turbocharged.
If you're a fan of G2 Esports, now you need to be a little bit nervous because Damwon here come into the World Championship with the second best early game statistically speaking out of all LCK teams. When you look at goal difference, kills, deaths, KD ratio. G2, on the other hand, they're one of 3 teams at Worlds with a negative goal difference at 14 minutes. The Rift Herald has spawned.
It's a party.
We've got ourselves set up, and the engage comes from Broken Blade. The flag and drag comes out, the encore whiffs. No music for G2, and they're forced to run. Fantastic Forge God call from Broken Blade, but the scoop, the dupe, the dunk, Damwon Kia destroy G2.
Showmaker, playmaker, my goodness, with the Unseer sweep right behind G2. They wiped them off the map.
That was beautiful. A 3,000 gold lead for Damwon.
It was just such an easy fight for Damwon to just shut G2 down. We talked about the damage. It felt non-existent. The initial play looked promising for G2, but Showmaker saw the angle. He makes the ultimate happen, and let's look back at his beautiful play.
And they first focus on Canyon. This Graves against the wall, so G2 gets the engage. They force the flash. As you pointed out, big whip on the Seraphine ult there. Damwon are able to disengage that one, and then when the Ornn goes through, Showmaker sees the angle, sweeps right over with the flash. All the G2 members swept right into their death.
That was gorgeous for Damwon. As we mentioned just moments before, in kills, in assists, in gold, that is a gigantic lead. And all of the AoE together, now G2 are in a hella precarious position.
Oh, they certainly are. The early game has never been the strongest for G2, but for Damwon to build this type of a lead this early on, we only just now hit the 10-minute mark, and this now becomes Canyon's jungle. Jankos, gotta be careful here.
Always such a sad thing to see the Shelly eyeball go into the dirt as well. No rewards there. Canyon gonna start up this dragon though with all the extra money for Damwon. Look how aggressive they're getting. Kellen wrapping around their own jungle, warding it up.
Oh, Jankos doesn't know.
Kellen, 10th blade, killing out those wards. Oh, that's beautiful! Everybody jumps on Jankos. And now I start to get nervous. What was that time window, Kobe, for how quickly Damwon took down G2 a few years ago? 19 minutes! And that's what Damwon may want to chase again.
Oh my goodness, they sped it up. The bottom lane investing so heavily in speed. Kellen, with the speed run around their own jungle, turned it in to Damwon, fully controlled vision, and they just jump on Jankos.
You have to bring into question, when we look at G2's composition, where does their damage come from? And we think about Fnatic's discipline from last game, where they kind of waited for those item spikes. You look at the difference now. Damwon have damage coming out the wazoo. Their engage is good, and their control and patience is something that G2 was just lacking in that last team fight. The way they attacked the bot lane early game, this does feel like it is Damwon's game to lose, and it's just a matter of time as Canyon continues to dominate in the jungle matchup.
It really is just so dominating when you get a full ace that early in the game at an objective there. So much gold, so much pressure that allows you to then run the lane phase for the entire mid game here for Damwon. And you see them further increase this lead with that aggressive positioning. Well, we already went over Kellen making these super deep routes with those mobility boots to get super deep vision and continue to pick off more and more resources. And now you get earlier item spikes, which allow you to abuse that. Even though Nuguri didn't get any of the last hits, any of the kills, Divine Sunder is already done for him up on the top side. So nice to get that into the Ornn matchup.
Yeah, and Kobe, what the hell is Broken Blade working? A couple of thrift store shopping items? compare Showmaker to Caps in the same token. That was a 9
He's the Forge master. He's working on trinkets.
He needs a lot more time for that to work out. Showmaker sitting on the Andrews. Now, it is somewhat mirrored by the fact that Jankos and Flackhead are the two members of G2 that are a little bit ahead. They managed to get their mythics up. I mean, gold-wise, Canyon still has a giant advantage. It's 4,000 gold at 12.5 minutes. The jungle no longer belongs to G2 Esports. And with those Moby boots and the engage potential of the Solar Flare, G2 not only have to respect distance in the darkness, but they barely can step forward because the engage and the speed potential from Damwon, they're running circles around G2.
Ooh, Showmaker looking for the ult, forces the flash out from Caps, and Damwon continue to dominate. They now have their eyes on the bot lane. The pings are coming through. The question is, how can G2 stop this attack from Damwon?
Oh, the curtains are called! The Solar Flare cleansed away from Flackhead. Flash still available to him. Cataclysm comes down! And the final spark! Damwon, Kia have bitten off more than they can chew, and G2 are willing to fight back. They don't have the damage yet, and Vedius, you asked it, where does the damage come from?
It's exactly that quick shot. Where is the damage? The engage looked good for Jankos. The ultimate comes through from Caps, and it does force the flash out from Showmaker, but it's just not enough. On the top side, Nuguri is securing more plates. Damwon is still in control of the map, and Damwon continues to extend their gold lead.
I feel your pain, fellas, because that was such a patient and well set up counter from G2. They wait for it to come in, they avoid the big opening there, dodging out on everything from Jhin, and yet they're still not able to get their counter kill. Caps does land the ultimate onto Canyon, but they can't take down the Graves. They couldn't even blow his flash. They do have flash blown on Showmaker at the very least, so maybe that will save them from the next big sweep.
You know what it won't save? Having no flash? A Lux in that bottom lane who was forced. Targamas needed to do that to get out to safety, and that is a juicy, juicy target for Damwon here, who maintain absolute control of the game. They've picked up that Cloud Drake. We're a minute and a half away from the next Ocean, and every time I look at this mini-map, Kellen and Canyon are just working together. They're pushing around the map, advancing that vision line forward. And I think for G2 now, figure out how to stall. That gold is growing, nearly 5,000 at this point. They cannot concede more kills. Ideally, defend towers as long as you can, but you have to buy so much time for the LEC second seed. Right now, Jankos forced to flag and drag to safety.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of outs to actually play to, like we talked about in Champions. So like this bottom lane had to succeed, had to get an early lead there. The Seraphine might be able to provide some, but with the giant gold lead here for Damwon, it becomes very hard for G2 to actually play that map and get that set up. You're constantly going to have to deal with this Camille pressure on side lanes. Look at Nuguri, he just worked through so many turret plates by himself, constantly forcing Broken Blade out of lane.
Now, I want to put a number to this G2 setup. I mentioned a little bit earlier, only one of 3 teams, the negative goal difference of 14. This is a team that does have a 40% win ratio when behind at 14 winning the game. I think while those odds are respectable, quote unquote, they are way lower this time around, and Betty is literally laughing in my face as I'm delivering that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, against the European teams. I'm curious as to what that stat looks like against international teams.
We're going to find out this game.
Yeah, and now the Dragon is up. Damwon just secured the top tower. They're going to bring Nuguri down. He doesn't have the TP. They're going to spot the one out. This gives them full control, which means that G2 is unlikely going to contest. And it's a situation that G2 now is forced to stall. But you look at how their comp ideally wanted to play out. They wanted to leverage their strong 2v2 in the bot side of the map. They wanted to bring this Caitlyn and Lux around the map. They wanted to basically keep them alive with the Seraphine and the front line that they have. And they don't have access to any of that, which means it's going to take a long time as Damwon goes on the offensive once more.
Jankos gets jumped on and chunked out. For all the European viewers and LEC fans out there, the only hopium I can give you right now is that Damwon Kia come into the World Championship with the lowest Baron percentage of all teams. This is a team that doesn't necessarily focus on those objectives. They like the kills, see hero, kill hero. So that may be one of the avenues.
My hopium and advice would be to European fans watching right now, get an early night and start dreaming. Because that's the situation in which they'll likely come out on top.
That's the opposite of what you're hired to do, Betty.
Hopium is twice as effective if you're asleep, actually. Yeah. Advise taking it right before bedtime. Honestly, though, it does feel, like Damwon in this rivalry have been so brutal to G2 ever since 2019. Nuguri under attack, but he is Camille.
2-level advantage. That
gotta
precision
walk
protocol
away.
does so much damage. 2 members of G2 cannot fight 1.5 members of Nuguri. Items of Nuguri.
It's not too surprising. Camille against Jarvan on. It's just, there's no damage being done to anyone in that skirmish.
We've been asking this question all day so
it's
far.
true.
In the previous game for the Cloud9, it was like, where's the damage? In this game, where's the damage? We just can't find it.
At this point, we're now kind of waiting for the next big objectives to spawn. These neutrals will slowly start to fall. Showmaker's been moved off into a side lane. You can see the cover on your minimap with Kellen just hovering behind him to make sure that he has that extra bit of security, while as well, Canyon just ticking over to level 11. 2, 1, and 5. Canyon has been involved in every single kill that Damwon have secured. It is now a 6,500 gold lead, and we're not even at the 20-minute mark. Nothing but domination from Damwon as they set up for the next objective.
2 towers to 0, 7 kills to 2, 2 dragons to 0. We're approaching 20 minutes, and at least the last time these two teams faced, the game was over at this time zone. Now, for G2 Esports, they continue to fall further behind, but it does get more risky and more difficult for Damwon to push into G2's territory.
Exactly. And thankfully for you, Riot has actually put Hopium into the game. There are objective bounties that show up on your screen and give you that spark of joy, Quickshot. G2, one of the things you can do when you're behind like this, the opposing team that is ahead, sometimes they'll fall into the trap of trying to get too much. They will spread the entire map because they're so far ahead, they want to get as much as possible. So they'll spread their forces very thin. And the team that's behind can try and condense their forces, attack just 1 or 2 lanes to get a pick, then turn that into an objective bounty. That's how you try and claw your way back in.
Kobe, there's all the damage. You've been asking all day, where's the world's damage?
Yeah.
It's all with Damwon. That's what the stats on the left of the screen are showing.
Keep Nuguri starter!
As they take their 3rd tower, the Rift Herald gets the boop onto the inner turret, and Damwon on uncontested. That gold lead balloons even further. It's 7,000 right now. And there would need to be an overstep and someone being caught out by G2 to make up this significant difference in itemization. I would like to draw everyone's attention to the bottom of your screen. Look at those combat stats, and Damwon can still back, shop, and buy more. But now the pace will slow down. There's a lot more risk involved in taking those inner turrets. A Dragon's up in a minute and a half. Baron's going to be up in the not too distant future, and Camille Azir will be very happy to shred through that.
It's just, this is kind of how you want to split open the map, right? This is how you want to attack G2 on all fronts, especially when you take into consideration G2's best opportunity to come back into the game is actually playing a front-to-back team fight, enable this Caitlyn to just freely dish out damage, allow the front line of Broken Blade and Jankos to soak up the damage, and Damwon's not giving them the opportunity. They're attacking the side lanes extremely well. Jankos is looking for a pick, but he's already been spotted out on vision, and Showmaker's going to respect it. It's just, honestly, a nearly flawless game from Damwon from early game and how they attacked the bot lane, the way in which they controlled objectives, into the team fight itself, into now how they're playing the whole map, setting up for the Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. Everything about what we're seeing is just a beautiful League of Legends from Damwon.
Yeah, and I think G2, again, try and look at the angle where if you condense and look for a pick, bring Ornn ultimate, bring Jarvan, and then bring 2 extra people of damage. Maybe you could pick off the Azir split push. The Camille split push is very hard to pick off. With the flash, with teleport, Nuguri is extremely safe and kills the minion wave so quickly with the Ravenous Hydra already done that G2's best chance there. Try and pick off somebody else. They're just making a power move right now, though. Grouping up as 5, trying to bully down Damwon as Nuguri is working in the bottom side of the map, rotating over to the Dragon. Here we go. The objective has arrived. Can they get the 5-on-5 setup?
I found the bounty. I found the fire, the Infernal
They're going
Dragon.
to pick him off.
That's the damage. 4 Infernals and an Infernal Soul. That's what G2 are looking for. They're going to start this Dragon off. But the engage tools from Damwon are immense. Kellen wants to be killing, stepping forward, holding onto that Solar Flare, flashing Ignite available. A couple of pings onto Nuguri. He's making his way up. Damwon are cutting off the escape routes. They're cutting off the engage. There's the Solar Flare. It's dodged away from for now, but Broken Blade is being burned down. The beat drop is going to find the roots as the Encore still available. Call of the Forge God flies dies out before Broken Blade goes down, and Canyon is gifted the Drake. Now G2 are running for their lives. Zenith Blade finds Yankos, he flags, he drags the final spark and dash of life as Flacken and Targamas are jumped on by Nuggery. He's got one as Showmaker gets one on the backside. Caps drop the last man standing. Damwon ace G2.
The patience from Damwon is flawless once again. They killed off Broken Blade without ever starting the fight. They secure the dragon, they walk away with another ace, and now they're going to start to break apart G2's base.
This is beautiful League of Legends from Damwon, the third seed out of the LCK that crashed out in playoffs after being pushed to 5 games by T1. They had to win through the regional qualifying. G2, on the other hand, they dropped that final, getting smashed, and they're getting smashed in their next game at World.
And you can tell how confident and composed Damwon stay in this game. With the lead they have, double flank from Kellen and Nuggery on the bottom side. They never burst down this dragon until already bursting down the G2 front line, bursting down Broken Blade. As you say, already out of the fight, then Canyon can just focus on the dragon, they pick up their objective, and they never open the gates from the flank. Kellen goes in right into the center and lays waste to G2.
It's just, even though he dies, the engage is worth it. It gives Nuggery direct access onto the back line, and it was just the way in which that double flank that you highlighted made it so difficult for G2 to really know how to even play the fight. Now Yankos is being collapsed on.
Oh man, look at that damage. Yankos loses 50%. As the Solar Flare was committed, Curtain Call is available here. As I'm waiting for Dr. Dan to see whether he pulls it back. Baron is up, it's being pinged. Nuggery will be able to use the Hextech Ultimatum. He gets jumped on. The Dragon Strike and Demacian Standard. Cataclysm locks him inside, and Yankos is gone. Nuggery stays alive, Yankos does too. Kellen cannot get in range for the Zenith Blade. The Encore's used. Everything used for one kill. At the concession of Baron Nashor.
Maybe if that laser had sniped it as well, we'd be in there for the big comeback. But it's just one kill. G2, they take down Nuggery. Damwon will pick up the Baron in exchange, though, and that will lend so much extra pushing power for them to get inside these inhibitor turrets of G2.
I mean, Damwon have all the options in the world right now. The worst news to them is that Nuggery did not get to the Baron, which means that his split push threat is slightly weaker, I say, as I put quotation marks around what I'm saying. But Damwon with a 12k gold lead, with the death cap already completed for Showmaker. He's nearing level 16. It's just, G2 just don't have the options to really stop what Damwon's doing. Damwon need to make a game-breaking error in order for G2 to come back in this one.
Yeah, we would be saying if the gold was closer that it would be hard to siege against G2.
For sure. With
the Caitlyn Lux, with the Seraphine, but that just isn't the case because gold will just open every single door in front of you and they can power right through there for Damwon.
Smack them with your wallets. Damwon Kia, 12,300 gold up. Infernal Soul spawns in 1 minute and 40 seconds. G2 Esports are afraid to go past their inner turrets because Damwon just control everything, and there's a bunch of vision left in that northern quadrant.
I like that Damwon's just playing through 2 lanes. I think this makes more sense because you want to keep Nuggery's power relatively close, and so by just leaving him isolated in the mid lane, he can help clear waves, and then they can rotate back to mid with his stacked wave while keeping someone like Showmaker safe in a side lane. Now they make their way onto the tier 3s, and G2's Nexus is in sight.
Oh man, Nuggery's bringing in that wave in the middle lane. The rest of Damwon using this Red Bull Baron power play to push the top tower. It is standing for now. Some of that wave clear coming into power, but Nuggery's left uncontested. That precision protocol is destroying things.
I think they're waiting on Showmaker's flash right now. He's itching to make a play. He has stopwatch on his ear. Flash now comes off of cooldown. Showmaker looking for the angle.
Oh, Solar Flare is so great. The Sand Soldiers are sent forward, and I'm holding my breath for Showmaker to step in. The inhibitor is exposed in the top lane. Baron empowered, Cannon Minion doing work. The bottom wave is pushing. Nuggery's stepped up, gets that sweeping kick forward, and Yankos forced to dash away to safety. Curtain Call will unlock the mid lane inhibitor, and no team fight necessary. The second inhib starting to fall. G2 simply cannot step forward. If they do, they get killed.
Their long-time rivals of Damwon will do to them what they did to them the last time they met and absolutely decimate them. Their base is falling apart, but Damwon recognized that the Dragon is spawning in 5 seconds. If they overstay and they're forced to go for an awkward back, it could give G2 a window back into the game. So they're going to respect it, they're going to disengage, and you'll see Canyon now going to be sent off to solo that objective. Or actually, they're actually looking for a fight right here.
Smoke screen. End of the line comes out. Collateral damage was used too. Call the Forge God comes out. That's a kill.
Wait a second.
Kellen. Cannon's so low, but Nuguri's alive. Nuguri throws down the baby cage. Jumps onto Targamas, hops on the wall, turns to Broken Blade, and the flash gets him to safety. But Showmaker on the back line doing so much damage.
Oh, the root doesn't kill Jankos. Caps is keeping everyone alive on G2 with that dive. G2 get some kills for themselves. Can they go contest Dragon as well? Jankos has Smite. He has Flash.
They might be too late. They might be too late. Dragon's burning down. Dragon's going low. Dragon's still alive. It's going to get secured by Damwon. The soul picked up. And imagine if there wasn't a 14,000 gold difference. G2 Esports on the verge of a 4-game losing streak. They're getting smashed today like they were in the finals. They get a consolation kill. But again, look at the state of the map. Look at the soul. Look at the supers. Silver lining here, Vetti. They can farm the supers for some gold.
Well, that was the closest thing G2 could call a one-team fight. They don't secure the soul. It is Damwon that is able to secure that objective, and Flackhead does get a lot of gold. You can see 3 items sitting on the Caitlyn. This is the only reprieve that you have if you're G2 Esports, in that maybe, just maybe, Flackhead can carry a team fight. But that requires Damwon to really overstep. And the only good news is that 14,000 gold lead is now a 13,001.
Whittling away, you gotta start somewhere. As well, yeah, the crits coming out from Flacken now with Infinity Edge and Ornn upgraded, Gale First as well, definitely big. Plus we're seeing Caps, even on just 2 items Seraphine there, both the DPS as well as the healing, keeping some G2 members alive. They are definitely in a turtle gameplay mode right now, just trying to defend, just try and survive.
The problem is, even if they try to fend off multi-man push from Damwon in the bottom lane, Nuguri is near unstoppable. Level 17, that's a 2-level advantage over his opposite number, Broken Blade. 3 items completed, including the Guardian Angel. And if he gets a little bit of time on a Nexus turret, 2 or 3 Qs will melt that.
And again, I love the way in which Damwon is playing on multiple lanes. It's the smartest thing to do. Spread G2 thin, because they're strongest when they are a 5-man stack, and taking advantage of the fact that no one can really kill Nuguri in an isolated matchup. Now that he has the GA as well, Damwon slowly whittling away as they get closer and closer to G2's Nexus.
Taking a look at the engage, Jankos gets chunked a little bit, forced back with super minions. Now on their top Nexus turret, the 3rd and final inhibitor. Inhibitor takes a shot. Solar Flare, near flawless. No further follow-up. It allows Showmaker a couple of auto attacks. Nuguri up on the top. Emperor's Divide, the slide, the glide, the spark. Simply not enough. Where is the damage, G2? It's all in Damwon's coffers. They will be able to back out for now, look for the re-engage. They get the flash from Showmaker. They defend the bottom inhibitor, and that is way more than I was expecting.
Bottom inhibitor is critical for G2 to keep up too, because if that goes down, you then double the super minions from all the other lanes as well, and the pressure becomes too much to handle. Damwon, though they back off the inhibitor, they will retreat to the Baron and claim what is theirs.
They're going to make the sensible choice of just guaranteeing the victory. They don't want to be overzealous, even with their gold lead. A game that feels like there is no way you could lose. They're not going to take the risk. They will secure that objective. Their siege is now infinitely stronger, as G2, while their inhibitors may be respawning in the near future, will have to hold the line against the titans that are Damwon.
Exactly, coming back with the Baron and an exposed inhibitor left on bottom side. The other 2 inhibitors respawning fairly shortly as well for G2. Just means Damwon, they know they have the playmaking advantage, they have the damage advantage. The only thing, G2 have a big sustain advantage. So when they go for these poke moves, Damwon have to give them some space. Multiple times here, G2 almost able to get their hands on 1 more kill.
And you just put yourself back into that 8-minute Rift Herald fight. Had they not been aced, had that gold lead not ballooned so far, you can see how this composition is, you know, trying to wave clear, also trying to find those picks. Unfortunately, the wallet difference is so significant before you even add in, there's a Baron buff, before you add in the Infernal Soul, and those inhibitors are being chipped away. Nuguri up top. As soon as Targamas and Broken Blade step forward, the bottom lane gets chipped and poked. The middle is about to fall, and it feels like at any moment, Damwon could find the pick that will open up the nexus in the game. The third and final inhibitor falls.
And Damwon just have to play it slow. Time is another ally for Damwon right now. Super minions will be flooding down here to help up with the Baron Siege.
G2, they're on their last legs. Their backs are literally against the wall right now as Damwon commit, and here comes the engage.
There's the Cataclysmation, the whole everything is blocked by the Hourglass. Flacket is chunked out, but not yet killed. Nuguri finally does with the precision protocol as the rest of the team are melted and destroyed. Damwon dominates G2 from a team fight in the early game to push through, and they take the head-to-head 5-4. Damwon win their first game of Worlds.
And they break the tie in the head-to-head with G2.